Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Today we're doing something a little different. We're actually going to doing a cheap versus expensive fishing with frogs video. So I picked up this Ozark trail frog for like $1.90, something like that. I have that tied on first, and that's what we're going to start out with. And then I'm going to throw on the spro and just see how each frog holds up with each frog bite. Hopefully it's a good frog bite today and we get on them. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the video and we'll see you out there. Alright guys, so this is the Ozark trail frog here that I picked up for like $1.90. It's not bad actually. It's pretty squishy. Seems to be pretty thick material. I don't know, I'm not going to trim it up at all. It seems fine. The hooks I wish were a little more towards the back, but we'll see what happens. First few years we came here, or first like year, we caught them.
All over through the channel.
So far the Ozark trail frog hasn't been bit on, but it, I don't know, it pulls through pretty well. It's like I haven't gotten hung up on anything like crazy. It pulls through with a lot of stuff really nice. Front that came through, if it's just got them not. Oh, there we go. Got him. There we go. First fish on the old. I seen something go right over there. Well, apparently the Ozark trail frog works because this dude just choked it. Alright guys, first fish off of the Ozark frog. Not a bad one at all, guys. Not bad. Just got back. Dirty water. So the frog, how it held up after the first bite. Not bad at all. It didn't get all twisted up. These things didn't really break off at all. Frog's in pretty darn good shape actually. I'm like really surprised. Huh. That's pretty neat. Like honestly, this frog's in like really good shape.
Oh, that's a babe cast right there.
Yeah.
Oh, get him.
Oh yeah.
We gotta move now. He's got grass on it.
It's a better bass than I thought, honestly. I didn't think he was this big. Holy cow, it's a good one.
You gotta learn to boat flip.
I kinda, There we go. There we go. Another one. That's a good 2.5.
Nailed that thing too.
Yeah, dude. Look at this. Just choked that frog. That's exactly what you want, though. Dang, he got her in there. There we go. All right, here's another one. Not a bad fish at all. Not bad at all. Well, decent chunker. Love it. Love it. Put this guy back. There he goes. Do start to notice on the second one it's kind of getting a little torn up in the back. I don't know if the camera can see it, but it's a little marked up back there. But so far it's holding up pretty good for just being like a $2 frog. But yeah, for coming fresh out of the box though, it's doing pretty well. Far I can get. Oop. What kind of, how? Oh, has he got it? Yep. he might have came off. Yep. Wasn't even paying attention. Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was a big blow up.
Dang. Get my frog back, damn it. I got blown up again. At least there's another blow up. Hopefully, I mean, assuming the camera caught it.
I really hope so.
Because Brandon over here not paying attention. You're like, oh, oh. And I just look and see ripples.
It was a big blow up.
Was it? See, I didn't see it. I just kind of heard it. I don't know if he like hit it when I was just like this, sitting there.
You were saying something.
All right, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna switch frogs now. Retiring this one. You know, another thing too, it didn't take too much water. Frogs are cooking in here.
We got a couple granola bars in here, protein bars that are gluten free.
Got one.
You good?
Yeah, oh, one guy.
Maybe one.
He's, oh, trying to hit you with a fish. There we go. Now that we got line. Look at this guy. Well, the spro frog finally. He ate it pretty good. Look at that. Just a little guy. Smoked it. Spro caught a fish. You're so small though that you make it very... There we go. Sweet. Go. First one off the spro, just a tiny guy, but we got one off the spro. So how does the spro look after it? Not even phased. Looks brand new. Just got bit, but he missed it. Alright, this is a good example, guys, of following up with a follow-up rig. So didn't get him there, but prime example to take a jig and pop your jig in there. Yep, just lost him. But as that's gonna wrap it up, I will talk to you guys on the big camera. We'll talk about how each frog performed and what I'm thinking on it, so stay tuned. All right, guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video so far. Right now, what we're going to do is go ahead and break down these frogs for you guys. So I have each one of the frogs here, the Ozark Trail Frog and the Spro Frog, and we're gonna go through what I like about them, what I dislike about them, what I ultimately think about them, and then we also will be covering the rig that I'm using, or that I have for a frogging setup. So before we get into talking about the frogs, guys, let's go over the setup that we were using to throw the frog on. So the rod that we are using, guys, is an ALX Hammer 7.3. So it's a 7-foot, 3-inch rod. It's a fast action rod and it's a heavy action rod, guys. I'm throwing this with the 7.3-to-1 high-speed Abu Garcia reel on 65 or 70 pound Power Pro braid. That is usually what I throw my frogs on. Is really heavy line with a really high-speed reel with a really heavy stiff rod as well. I like a 7.1 to 7.4 foot rod for frog, and I don't like much longer than that, otherwise it makes it kind of hard to walk the frog. But this rod right here, guys, is a damn good frog fishing rod, guys. I really enjoyed using this to fish a frog. It's super light, especially when you're fishing with a big heavy rod. Sitting there walking the dog with a frog all day long can get really tiresome. So this rod being nice and light, it definitely helps out. I will link ALX rods down below if you guys want to go check them out. But this is the setup that I've been using for frogging. Alright, guys, so let's start with the Ozark Trail Frog. So this thing right here is like $1.96 at Walmart. I think I picked it up for. This frog right here, pretty cheap frog. but it held up pretty well, guys. It didn't get beat up too much from those 3 fish. I know it was just 3 fish that hit on this frog. Unfortunately, the conditions for frogging were not the best, but I really wanted to make this video for you guys. We've had a lot of substantial rain here, and that really throws off the fish and makes the water really super murky and muddy, and it makes a frog bite usually pretty tough. But I did want to make this video. So the 3 bites that we did get, the frog did get a little beat up, but not too bad. This thing held up pretty darn well. This frog really reminds me of kind of a booyah frog, but it held up really well. I was really surprised. These little tassels hanging off of the frog are actually pretty short already. Usually I end up trimming them to the length of the frog if they're too long, but on this one they're pretty short, so I'm happy that right out of the box you don't have to really do anything. For the good, I was really surprised with the frog. It's super cheap for $2, and the way it held up, and the hooks are pretty sharp on it. I caught fish no problem when they did hit. I had a pretty good hookup ratio. So for $2 for this frog, and to get what you get out of this for $2 is pretty good. I was really happy with it. The bad with this frog, I will say, is I wish that the hooks weren't so far down on the body. I wish they kind of were towards the top a little bit more. And I'm making this video a few days after fishing with this frog, and I will say that the hooks on this are already rusting. You can tell that, you know, since it is a $2 frog, they didn't put the best hooks on it, and the hooks are already rusting, guys. I've only had this in the water, fished with it for 1 day. I left it out in the sun to dry off and everything, and this sucker got rusty already. So I mean, for $2 though, what do you expect? But that is a bad thing that I really disliked about this frog. But now the spro frog, guys. This is the spro frog. This is my favorite color of a spro frog. I'm a huge spro frog kind of a guy. This spro frog right here is going to cost you around $8 to $10 for this frog alone. So it is a bit pricier. The thing you'll notice right about the spro frogs that I love is the material that they're made out of, guys. These frogs are made to take a beating. Bottom line, these spro frogs can take quite a beating. They have some really nice hooks on them. You won't have to worry about rust with a spro frog on the hooks. I mean, eventually they might rust if you keep getting them wet, not letting them dry out. They're eventually going to rust because they are metal, but usually they hold off on rusting for some time. The thing I will say about spro frogs that I always do is I usually trim up the tassels on these frogs. They are a little long for the frog. A lot of times you'll get fish that'll come up and get this, grab these and pull it under. So with the spro frog, I usually trim them up, but in the video I fished with them out of the box. I did not trim anything. What you guys seen on the video is fresh out of the box and used that way. Everything on a spro frog is going to be better made because, I mean, the frog is $8 to $10 depending on where you buy them at. Usually they're around $10. But everything on a spro frog is better made. It's way better material, I will say. It'll definitely hold up longer in the end. My ultimate factor with these two frogs, guys, honestly, I would have no problem fishing with the Ozark Trail frog. This frog held up really well. The only thing I don't see it holding up well with is pike. Okay, so when I fish the Mississippi River a lot, so you're gonna get bit by pike eventually. They tear up lures, guys. They have super sharp teeth. If a pike hit this Ozark Trail frog, it would just rip it to shreds. If it hits the spro frog, your spro frog might get torn up a little bit, but for the most part, it's gonna hold up really well. I've caught plenty of pike off of a spro frog, and they've always held up really well against pike. But that kind of leads me to the next thing here is price point. I mean, if this, you know, the spro frog's a $10 frog, you could buy 5 of these things, price of 1 spro frog, guys. So if you're that concerned about pike tearing up your frog, I mean, realistically, if you have 5 of these suckers, and a pike jumps up and tears this thing up, I mean, it's only $2. You can go buy, or you can either buy, or you got another one that you bought 5 of them, you know, and you throw another one on. So, but ultimately, did it catch fish? That's the main question. Yes, this thing caught fish, no problem, guys. If you're looking for a frog to get into frog fishing, don't want to break the bank on frogs, go ahead and pick these up. It worked good for catching fish. It actually caught more fish than the spro frog. Conditions didn't really call for it. I really wanted to do this video to see durability and see how well this frog held up compared to the spro frog. I knew the spro frog was going to hold up very well because I fish with the spro frogs. That's pretty much all my frogging box is spro frogs. But this thing held up super well. $2 at Walmart. I would say that Why not, guys? If you're looking to get into frog fishing, you might as well try it out. There is the frog fishing challenge video. If you guys enjoyed that video and enjoy videos like that, go ahead and drop a like on the video, throw an idea down in the comments, and I will check it out. Remember to like and subscribe, and until next time, keep fishing hard.